What's up, it's EJ Spark. Happy New Music Friday. And if you are like me, you are super excited about the Kid Cudi Man on the Moon 3 album that dropped at midnight last night. And if you're also like me, you stayed up till midnight and listened to it on repeat. I listened to this album multiple times and we have a lot to unpack, so let's get started. Kid Cudi has come back with his third installment of his Man on the Moon trilogy. Man on the Moon 1 and 2 coming out in 2009 and 2010. And those albums are so much beloved by fans all over the world. So it's been a decade since we've heard Man on the Moon, so everyone has had super high expectations. He's put out other albums throughout the past decade, but the Man on the Moon series is something that old fans and new fans have been waiting for a long time. So starting off with the intro track, which is titled Beautiful Trip, the sound of the Man on the Moon, as I like to call it, with those 4 notes from the original Man on the Moon. And that just absolutely gave me chills, because that means we have a classic Cudi album coming our way. Or so I hope. Also, the 3-2-1 at the end is just fantastic, like a rocket ship going out to outer space. Love it. So the first song on the album is titled Tequila Shots, and this song is a vibe. When this song came on, I really found myself vibing out to this. The hook is my favorite part of the song because it really reminded me of Man on the Moon. And that's what we're looking for, right? Not Speeding Bullet to Heaven, not Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, Man on the Moon. It didn't give me that full Man on the Moon feel, but, you know, it definitely gave me some chills. And if you're around my age, or maybe a little younger, or probably even older as well, you're really looking for that nostalgia that the Man on the Moons brought for us, that emotional connection. And this first song really gave us that vibe and really started to remind me of good old Kid Cudi. Third track is titled Another Day, and this synth chord progression to start off the song is really nice and really outer spacey. Love it a lot. In this track, Cudi shows off some bars, just like old school mixtape Kid Cudi, which I really like. Lyrically, it's definitely party content, no doubt. The hook was catchy, and I really enjoyed verse 2 a lot more than verse 1 on this track. I think his flow is a little better, and the lyrics in general I liked a lot more in verse 2. But nonetheless, you could tell this song was definitely Travis Scott influenced, and there were some Travis Scott-esque influenced ad-libs that I wasn't too big on. But nonetheless, a pretty decent track. Track 4 is She Knows This, and it opens up with a clip from Scott Pilgrim Against the World, which is a great movie. I love when songs open up with movie clips. I think it's a lot of fun. But when the triple kick and the 808 comes on, I know this track is gonna go hard. And it definitely did go hard. At this point of the album, I could definitely tell Travis Scott has had a lot of influence on it, which isn't a bad thing. And also, I guess Kid Cudi influenced a lot of Travis Scott, so I guess it's kind of like a cycle of Cudi influencing Scott and Scott influencing Cudi. Kind of shows me Cudi has maybe evolved a little bit, which I would assume he has, since it's been a decade of years since Man on the Moon 2. But I really like the production on She Knows a lot, so it's a very solid track. Track 5 is Dive, and this song comes in with some brilliant electric guitar that I really love. I was looking for the live instruments throughout the beginning of this album, and we finally got a really nice touch with this electric guitar. Now, when the 808 drops in this song, I know it's fire. But at the same time, I hadn't really heard yet that much classic Man on the Moon that I've been waiting for. So still waiting for that extreme classic Man on the Moon feel. Nonetheless, Dive provides a catchy chorus with a great melody and the heavy synth I really enjoyed in this track. So those first 5 songs were Act 1, Return to Madness. And if you know Man on the Moons, he always does them in acts. So track 6 starts Act 2, The Rager, The Menace. So I'm thinking this act is going to be maybe darker, maybe a lot more angry, and track 6 was Damaged, which definitely is a lot darker than what was the first 5 songs. Whereas the first 5 songs were a lot more like party feel, this definitely gets a lot more deeper and personal. And at this point, I'm thinking Kid Cudi's flow is just absolutely insane. Like, no one can replicate Cudi's flow. And I really think Kid Cudi's flow is overlooked because his melodies are so amazing and his lyrical content is so much of a connection for people that no one thinks about how crazy his flow is. So 10 out of 10 for your flow, Cudi. So the chorus in this song was pretty good, but the pre-chorus once again sounded so much like Travis Scott. And once again, isn't bad by any means, but there was such heavy auto-tune on it, and I personally think Kid Cudi sounds much better without the super heavy turned up auto-tune. His hums are more natural, his singing is more natural, and it just feels a lot better to me. I don't know. The reason I keep saying about the Travis Scott influence, not because it's bad by any means. It's not bad. It's still very, very good. It's great. But when you think of the Man on the Moon, you think of Man on the Moon, the track, where Cudi goes, "Why your shit sounds so different? Why it sounds so different? Like you think it's a bad thing?" And I'd be like, why not? So when I think of Man on the Moon, I think of exponentially different, exponentially unique. And that's what people love about Cudi, was because he was so different from the average rapper. This song was decent, definitely not my favorite at this point, but Cudi has definitely impressed me with his involvement of modern rap up to this point. Track 7 is Heaven on Earth, and I'm quickly realizing that the first half of this album is just all very vibey and very much bangers, because Heaven on Earth is. This track is one of my favorites from the first half. I love what sounded like a xylophone, I believe it was, in the background. Love the production. And the synth production just continues to blow me away on this album. We get our first features with track 8, which is Show Out, featuring Skepta and Pop Smoke, RIP. First features impressed. Skepta laid down a fire verse, it was dirty, and Pop Smoke laid down a really good chorus. Definitely the hardest song on the album to this point. Track 9 is Mr. Solo Dolo III. Super high expectations for this track because the first 2 solo dolos were fantastic. Also, anyone else realize that the first 2 solo dolos was just Solo Dolo and then Solo Dolo Part 2, and this solo dolo is Mr. Solo Dolo 3? Just a little tidbit I realized. Now this beat is starting to feel like old Cudi to me. Don't even get me started on the hums. At first I realized this song didn't really have the same piano or chord progression as the first 2 solo dolos did, which didn't really confuse me. I know you can have a different vibe with it, but I was really expecting that original solo dolo feel. So sonically it really didn't sound like Solo Dolo, but the lyrics were awesome. Like the chorus was so good, and he still incorporates the I don't need nobody feel and lyric, which that lyric is really in there. And this song really grew on me throughout the 4 or 5 listens I've already listened to this album. Like it grew on me a lot, and it's really starting to impress me more and more. And I just start to realize sonically it doesn't have to sound like Solo Dolo, but it's still a fantastic song and the lyrical content is on point. So that wraps it up for Act 2, and Act 3 is Heart of the Rose Gold. Track 10 is Sad People, and when this beat came on, I was like, yes, this is the Man on the Moon that I've been looking for. I've been waiting for it, and the song is fire overall. I wish the hi-hat and clap combo pattern was a little bit different, but you all know how I feel about the hi-hats and the clap patterns. But other than that, the song is fire, and Cudi also mentions being in a zone, maybe a nod to the Cudi zone. Track 11 is Elsie's Baby Boy, Flashback, and it opens it up with a Stand By Me clip, which fires me up because I love the movie Stand By Me. And the guitar came in and the beat dropped, and it felt like a thunderstorm after a long drought. You know, Sad People gave us that sprinkle, but this song captured old Cudi perfectly and gave me that nostalgia I was long awaiting for. It was emotional. Melody was insane. Nothing too crazy with the beat. It was beautifully simple. And this song can create that emotional connection because the beat was simple. The lyrics melt through to us and they stand out to us. These days, so many people just care about the beat. They don't read the lyrics. They don't care about the lyrics. They just want to turn up, which is fine. But when it comes to Cudi, I want to hear those lyrics. I want to feel his connection. I want to relate to Kid Cudi. And that's why this song becomes that much more important, because it's so relatable and real. Track 12 is September 16th. A very solid track once again. The atmosphere was very outer spacey. Loved it. And at this point, Act 3 has impressed me a lot so far and has given me the most nostalgia and unique production throughout the album. I'm loving it. Track 13 is The Void, and this is one of the best songs on the album, hands down. No debate for that. You get the Kid Cudi hums in the beginning. The chorus drops right away, really makes you want to sing at the top of your lungs. And isn't that what we love about Kid Cudi? The Up, Up, and Away, Erase Me, Soundtrack to My Life, Pursuit of Happiness. You can sing those at the top of your lungs. Not only lyrically is it amazing, but sonically it's something you can belt out. Track 14 is Lovin Me, featuring Phoebe Bridgers. Once again, you have some Kid Cudi hums that absolutely shook my soul to the core. And the kick drum comes in, and I love it. I love a good kick drum. It's another old school Cudi beat. Lyrical content is insane, you know, telling you you need to love yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, realizing your imperfections, but you need to love yourself to grow. The chorus is amazing. Phoebe Bridgers lays down beautiful vocals. We needed this song. It's what we love about Cudi, the realness and ability to once again connect emotionally. This song is it, chief. So we move on to the final act, which is Powers. Track 15 is the Pale Moonlight. Got some hardcore hip hop in this one. I dug this one a lot of hums, melodies, gave me an out of body experience. Again, a solid track. Track 16 is Rockstar Knights with Trippie Redd, the final feature on the album. Now, Trippie Redd is someone someone I never thought Kid Cudi would actually work with. I love this beat, love the theme, and Trippie Redd actually impressed me a lot on the chorus. It was a great melody. Lyrics were pretty solid. To be honest, I wasn't too high on Trippie Redd's verse. Maybe I'll have to listen to it once again and it'll grow on me, but the lyrics just weren't there for me for Trippie Redd's verse, to be honest. But Cudi revived that with his verse in the second verse, and it really turned out to be a good song. Track 4 is for the kids, more hums, and anytime Cudi does anything for the kids, you know the song will be fire. And it just feels more like Kid Cudi. And wrapping it up with the final song on the album is Lord I Know. It gives us a very solid instrumental. Cudi gives us bars, which we definitely needed more of. And you could tell Kid Cudi has really grown closer to God, and he's kept a faith or grown his faith, which is really good to see from someone like Kid Cudi. And it sounds like he's doing well toward the end of this with Lord I Know, so it's a really good thing to hear. And at the very end, if you listen within the last 15 seconds, I believe, his daughter whispers in the mic, "To be continued." And that made the hairs on my neck stand up, I'm not gonna lie. Now, some people told me they originally thought maybe there would be a Man on the Moon 4, but I just didn't think so because Kid Cudi keeps calling it a trilogy, and I think he wanted to wrap the series up. But maybe it leads to that Intergalactic album coming out sooner than we thought. So it led to a lot of speculation between fans, and I absolutely love it. Whew, so that was a lot to unpack, and these are my overall thoughts. Listen, Kid Cudi is one of a kind. He has always stuck up for the sad and lonely. Now, I know the first half was a lot more new school and modern, and I was iffy on some of the ad-libs and even the heavy auto-tune. Like I said, I think Kid Cudi sounds much, much better without the heavy auto-tune with his natural voice, because his natural voice is honestly so amazing. And even the humming sounds a lot better natural. But with that being said, Kid Cudi satisfied everyone. He satisfied new fans or modern rap fans with the first half of the album being very 808 kit heavy, and they were bangers. Could I have used more live instruments in the first half? Maybe. But it was also very vibey and lyrically classic Cudi. Not to mention his flow has grown, and has grown insanely well over the years. And in the second half, especially in Act 3, gave old fans like me nostalgia that we so long needed. So Cudi did everything on this album, which is extremely impressive. And even those modern rap songs in the first half that you never would have thought Cudi made weren't so generic. He still provided his own flair to them. Cudi is a legend, and this is a classic album. So my final score is a 9.2 out of 10. And I don't give 9s that often. So the fact that this man can satisfy a wide range of fans in his fan base is, like I said, extremely impressive. Whether you were satisfied with the first half or the second half, or obviously the whole thing, there's something for everyone here. And that's a very hard thing to capture as an artist. Kid Cudi has reminded us that he's still with us in the darkest of times. Those first 2 Man on the Moon albums had given kids like me hope when you're in your awkward stages of middle school, high school, or whether you're depressed, anxious, or just deal with any mental illness, Kid Cudi was always there for us. So thank you, Kid Cudi. Thank you for this breath of fresh air that many of us needed, especially through a year like this. The bangers, the emotional connections, and most of all, your artistic talent. Overall, this trilogy may go down as the greatest trilogy of hip-hop albums of all time when all is said and done. Okay, so those are my thoughts for every track and the overall album after the first few listens. Please let me know your thoughts of the album. Were you satisfied? Were you not satisfied with it? Did it blow away your expectations or not? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for coming by. If you like this video, please hit a like and please subscribe to the channel if you love talking music just like I do. And I also make music. You could go listen to my music on all streaming platforms. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EJSpark1. And as always, you know what it is. It's peace, love, I love s'mores. EJ out.